Good morning. It is time to skip the BS. Time for Undisputed. Time to welcome back the playmaker. Michael Irvin is back in this house.
With my guy.
Welcome back.
Love, baby.
By the way, I missed you, but he didn't miss you at all because he gets to talk so much more when you're not here. Am I right? Am I right?
It's not even that.
Yeah.
You brought in reinforcement because I was kicking your new,
So he
tried to bring in some reinforcement.
Oh, yeah.
It's been going. It's been crazy out here.
First time you've ever been called a reinforcement.
Yeah. That's it.
Right.
Okay. Slider, man.
Yeah.
Reinforcement. But it has been crazy out here, man. With the Cowboys inactive and everything, and everybody's going crazy. So I'm here to
let's get active about the inactive Cowboys.
Yes.
Okay. So they finally did do something. Though they were the last team in the NFL to sign a free agent and the only team that didn't make a single deal during the legal tampering period. But they did sign linebacker Eric Kendricks, who did play for new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer when they were both in Minnesota. We'll get to Kendricks in just a moment, Michael Irvin. But first, we need Michael to respond to this. Michael campaigned for Jerry Jones to go get Derrick Henry. Though Michael did want Derrick Henry to take a little America's team discount. But of course, Derrick Henry signed with Baltimore for a pretty team-friendly $9 million base salary. So, Michael, how disappointed were you when you heard the news that Derrick Henry was a Raven?
I was disappointed in losing Derrick. And I was disappointed because of what I said prior to all of this free agency stuff is last season, with the way that season ended, that I was going to need some kind of hope if you still kept Mike McCarthy, and they did still keep Mike McCarthy and kept that thing intact. So now give me some hope. Derrick Henry was that hope. It could have, man, I would have loved to get Derrick Henry and so, man, this is just what we needed. You guys know how often I talk about a hammer being the most important part of a football team, and Derrick Henry is certainly a hammer. There's a lot of talk about the Philadelphia signing Saquon Barkley. We'll talk more about that. And
we will.
Right, but I wasn't, Dallas go try to get Saquon. None of that, and the money got to what it was. I wanted a hammer, and Derrick Henry is the hammer. This dude is a 2,000-yard rusher. He's rushed for 2,000 yards. Nobody's rushed for more yards and touchdowns since he's entered the league than Derrick Henry. And you kind of got rid of him in Tennessee. So he's going to bring over that anger, too. He's going to bring over that anger. I still want to show you and I still want to prove to you because you just mentioned he really got $8 million, $9 million guaranteed.
Yep.
They gave Tony Pollard about $8 million a year. That's not enough difference to ship this man who's given you and served you that well out. So he would have come with a little anger. But I'm disappointed, but I'm not destroyed. I'm not devastated. You know what I mean? This, for me, doesn't dethrone the Dallas Cowboys from having a chance at winning the NFC East because they did not get Derrick Henry and Philadelphia got Saquon Barkley. We put so much on this stage right here, this area, this legal tampering area. And really, guys, if you look through it, even last year, maybe the Javon Hargraves, maybe that was the only guy that really got picked up this time that played in the Final Four of the NFL. That means the championship games. So we always talk about winning these times. A lot of teams win this time, but don't usually show up later time. So I'm okay with now. You pay more money early. You pay higher prices early because everybody's in a bidding war. You got $26 million a year for Calvin Ridley. We'll talk about that because that's in that time where everybody's in a bidding war and prices are high.
No, Calvin Ridley got $50 million guaranteed.
$50 million guaranteed, but right, about 25, 26 a year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm okay with where the Cowboys are. I would have loved to have Derrick Henry. I would have loved to have that hammer on the Dallas Cowboys. But everything else, I'm okay with not having. I didn't see a Deion Sanders in here. You know, we all put this model off Deion Sanders, and there was no Deion Sanders in here. Deion Sanders is great on the field, both sides of the football, and great for you off the field. And whatever you pay him, you'll make it back in jersey sales. So there's a difference there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate y'all letting me go with that long without even saying anything. You usually want to jump in right away. But since I haven't had much time to talk, I appreciate you just giving me the microphone in the camera, just letting me do a little something talking about them Cowboys. Because I really have been upset with all the mess. It's been like Armageddon again. I went through the pain when we lost the playoffs, and y'all trying to start it all up again. Y'all trying to stir it up.
I'm not starting
Cowboys stay still. They didn't do anything. Now they no way. They're not even going to win the division.
You talked for 6 damn minutes.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm just listening.
That was good. I know it's hard for you. I know it was hard.
6 minutes of wisdom.
It's not hard, Skip. I just was listening to him. And then as I was taking things in, I remember postseason when Michael was on the show, he talked about Derrick Henry taking a Dallas Cowboy discount because how important it was to be a Dallas Cowboy and the star and all of this and that and the big lights and 5 national televised Monday night games and all this. And Derrick Henry went to Baltimore. I just was listening. That's all. I started putting.
And I like what he's doing. I like Baltimore. That's a good choice.
So he decided to go to Baltimore. Now I don't even know if Jerry didn't pick up the phone or not.
Right.
I have no idea.
And that's
no idea.
Key. That's where it is. That's where it is.
Idea.
That's where disappointment is. Now I would like to have heard that it was between Baltimore and Dallas.
Likewise.
Okay. I heard that. That's good.
Maybe,
you tried, you got in. And he made that choice.
But maybe, as I told Skip yesterday, maybe the Cowboys already knew that they didn't have a shot, that the star really didn't mean anything to him. Conversations at the combine, he was at the combine, you know those pass-around conversations. Hey, what you think he wants? What you think he's looking for? If we're interested, is he interested? And it can be a simple, nah, he's not, he doesn't want to do that right now. And that's it. Right. And that's the end of the conversation because he already had his mind made up. That's why I say what I say.
And at the combine, what happens, guys do talk. And I had some great meetings with some people at the combine. You know, Mike Tomlin and Mike McDaniels, we all had dinner. We had some fun times. But guys do talk. But now at the combine, players have at that time different numbers in their head.
That too.
See, you know what I mean? So maybe at the combine they were talking and we had, you letting Pollard go, you had a $10 million slot right there that Pollard played on last year, about $10 million.
Yeah, you got that money
went
back.
to $12 million on the franchise tag. That $10 million would have taken care of Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
That $10 million would take. So in your cap moved up. So I would take a wash on right now 10, on switching those backs.
But if I'm eating at 10 and he's not my every down back because he's our short yardage goal line package guy. He's our first because on third downs when we want to throw the football. I'm just telling you, Mike McCarthy's West Coast style systems is 3 down backs, or he has 2 backs that they can bring in and bring out. So if I'm giving Derrick Henry 10, I'm just telling you how they think in terms of the room. Okay, if I'm giving Henry 10, and then I'm giving somebody else 3. That's 13, plus I got a couple little rookies that's about an $850 a slot. That's how they think. They don't want to justify the room at a certain number.
Derrick
Skip,
Henry.
I get it, but that's not the way they think, man. They don't think that way. They just don't think that way.
Yeah.
He is a proven stud. His numbers fell a little last year at Tennessee, in large part because they're a bad team. Their offensive line was ranked at the bottom of the league.
Yes.
He is a 30-year-old freak of nature.
All the above.
I watched him last year and I said, that's the same guy. And I asked you to do a quick little bit of math for me. What's 5 plus 5? That equals 10. What if on first down he gets 5 and on second down he gets 5? You don't even get to third down. So I don't want to hear about that.
I'm just telling you how they think.
And I like him on the field on third and 2s and third and 3s. You know why?
Guess why?
Because I want you to think we still may run for this first down. And now you got to play a straight.
But check this out, though. That's why he's in Baltimore.
Right, I know.
Because of that.
I know.
It takes that pressure off of Lamar.
Right. Hey, no doubt. No doubt he does.
They going to run the ball on third down regardless in Baltimore.
Speaking of run, it's a home run for Baltimore. I went on the limb. I think they just won next year's Super Bowl.
How many times have you seen your Dallas Cowboys on 3rd down and 2, throw the freaking ball.
But
and they could just turn around and hand it to Tony Pollard, and they was throwing it.
Thank you.
Well, no, and that's not true.
What you mean it's not true?
That's the whole problem. We're not going to turn. I just told you. Because the hammer, Tony wasn't a hammer.
He wasn't.
You can't turn around and just hand. You can turn around and get a yard or 2 with Zeke at any time. You can turn around and get a yard or 2 with Derrick Henry. Even though Dallas was good at 3rd and short, Tony's not necessarily that hammer. Let me tell you something. On Wednesdays, when you go into game plan, that's game plan Wednesday. Every team does it in the National Football League. They put the game plan up Wednesday. That's a new game plan for the next week. Because Monday, we reviewed last week. Tuesday, your day off, game plan Wednesday. That's when you put it in. Teams come in, they put CeeDee Lamb up on the board.
Yes.
They say, this is the guy we have to stop.
They're going to red dot him.
And that's it. Right now, that's it. You get Derrick Henry, they put CeeDee Lamb and Derrick Henry. Now they are in conflict. That's what you want. You want game plan Wednesday for a team to already be in conflict. Teams are not saying, here goes CeeDee Lamb, and we got to stop Tony Pollard. We got to put some things together. We got to do what we got to do. They're not in conflict on game plan Wednesday. I want you in conflict on Wednesday.
Do your coach want to throw the ball on 3rd downs and short, or does he want to run the ball on 3rd downs?
He is prone to throw the ball.
That's my whole point, Michael.
All right. Okay.
He's prone to throw the ball on 3rd down.
All right. So, Keyshawn, here's the point that Michael was trying to make.
He made it.
Okay. I hate to have to reflect on this. I hate to have to relive this, but we were down 27-0 in our home playoff game against the youngest team in the NFL, and we were 7.5-point favorites. Jerry, for once, owed us this move. It's not even a plunge. If you told me that somebody had given Derrick Henry $50 million guaranteed like Calvin Ridley just got from Tennessee, where he left, then I'd say, you got me. There's no way we can do $50 million guaranteed. That is a team-friendly, doable deal for us, for anybody. I'm still shocked. The harder I look at, they gave him $9 million guaranteed, period, end of story. That's it. That's
the whole deal.
If you don't like what you see, he's gone.
Next year, you're gone.
Okay.
And that blows my mind.
Okay, that blows my guts out.
I mean, that's less than the slot we gave Tony Pollard last year in the salary cap increase.
Okay, so Michael,
increase.
Let me
So it's less than that. It's less than that.
Okay, you brought up Deion, so let me go historical as the elder statesman here. The Cowboy historian that I am, the last time Jerry plunged was for Deion, as you well know.
Right.
And it was, what do you call it? Handsome ransom. That doesn't even start to. Listen, it was the sun and the moon that they gave to Deion, and it was worth every last penny of it.
Some of my money.
Right? Some of your money went. Some of your money went.
And I talked about it while we were working out my deal.
It was Michael, it was a double-edged sword because you took him away from the 49ers. You took him away and you had him. And fortunately for you guys, you didn't have to deal with the 49ers in the next year's playoffs, but it didn't matter because you dealt with Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl. It was a mismatch because you had Deion and they did not have Deion Sanders. So help me out here. I'm going to give you one historical fact. Since you and your Dallas Cowboys won that Super Bowl that year after the 1995 season, we're going on 30 years ago, 29 years. Since then, our Dallas Cowboys in the postseason are 5-13. I want you to think about this, 5-13. That's our record since you guys won the Super Bowl. I want you to think about this. 20 teams since then have played at least 15 playoff games. Of those 20 teams, our record, 5-13, is at the bottom of the barrel. We are the worst team in the playoffs since 1995 because Jerry won't plunge in free agency. The last time he plunged, we won the Super Bowl. This wouldn't even qualify as a plunge. This is like a minor risk at best, right?
Right.
Okay, help me out here.
But now, Skip, and here's to push back on that now. You said last time we plunged, we won the Super Bowl. As if the plunging got us to the Super Bowl. We had won 2 Super Bowls.
You had, no, I got it. But he was
so the plunging got us.
Right. He's not saying it like that.
Right. No. I'm not taking anything away from Deion or propping to say. I'm just saying. I'm saying here, right here, when we call it a plunge. Deion, we were going over the top with Deion.
You went over the top.
We were over the top with Deion, and I mean, so we didn't even need to sell hope. Here, we got to sell hope.
Yes.
This thing here needs to be pulled up to that level.
Yes.
Like up to that level.
You haven't been here, Michael. I've been speaking to Skip quite frequently every day.
Too frequently, yeah.
And what I keep trying to tell him is this plunge idea that Derrick Henry all of a sudden is going to walk y'all into New Orleans.
Right.
You got other problems, man.
Okay, that's true.
You have to address the offensive line and left tackle position.
Keyshawn, you're so right.
You have to address the middle linebacker spot. You have to address the DT spot. You have to address a corner. Hold on one second, Michael.
Okay.
You got to address.
No, I hadn't been here. I'm ready to talk. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to unleash you. I'm going to unleash you. But I've been trying to get you to understand this. Derrick Henry, phenomenal. No question about it. If I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm signing him yesterday for whatever it is that he wants.
Absolutely.
If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm not signing him for whatever he wants because it all has to make sense. You're
Keyshawn,
looking for a splash.
No, time out. I'm looking for sending a message to the locker room. We did something.
That's all.
We did this.
That's all.
We got the big joker. We got it.
And we got something we needed, too.
Right.
We didn't just go get anything. We got something we needed.
What did you say, Michael Irvin, when you opened up the show? You don't even know what you said. You said there was one guy.
6 minutes of it.
You said one guy out of the 4 in the tournament in this time of year.
Right. Did you pull in?
That he pulled in, advanced in the tournament. One guy out of all the dudes that was high-priced free agent. One guy.
But let me extrapolate and expand on that. I also said in this overpriced, overpaying period, he was not overpriced or overpaid. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So to that point, yeah. You got this opportunity to get this guy without him being overpriced and underpaid at a better slot than you had last year at this same place. You make that move. I understand, like you said, if Derrick Henry had gotten $15 million a year, ain't nothing you could do about that, Jerry. Because you got to do that Prescott. You got to go do CeeDee Lamb, and I got to not have a chance of losing Michael Parsons.
You want to give him. You don't want to give him 15, but you want to give him 8. But you desperately need a guy in the locker room.
Right. And I'm not telling you he's not worth 15. I'm not telling you he's not worth 15. In my book, he's worth 15.
I agree.
I'm telling you right now, he's worth $15 million a year, easily. And I'm talking about for any one of those teams.
Okay, so Michael, we go from wanting Derrick Henry to getting Eric Kendricks, who did turn down the 49ers.
We need it.
In favor of the Cowboys. So give me this. Give me a scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you about Eric Kendricks?
Listen, we need it.
Okay.
We needed some beef in the linebacker position. We still need some more beef in the linebacker position. We need some beef and some players on that defensive line.
Agreed.
This is an 8 in getting somebody right here. We were so light in the tail. We didn't, at this position last year, that's why they were gaping holes. We later on, when we talk about the Saquon Barkley, why the one reason it bothers me is because we were so light in the tail at these positions last year. Those big gaping holes, you give those to Saquon, they're going to be touchdowns. That's why this is important. And I put it at an 8, and them making sure that they got this linebacker.
Go.
Yeah, it's an 8, it's a 10, depending on how you look at it. Here's why, though, Skip. Don't just look at his on-field presence. You also got to look at his leadership.
I agree.
Okay, in the locker room.
I'll buy that.
There's certain intangibles. He comes with Mike Zimmer, had played with him in Minnesota. He understands the system,
knows the defense calling.
He can teach everybody. And all coaches go out and get some of their guys when it's new. If you just
see Dan Quinn.
There you go, Coach.
Yeah.
You see Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, every chance he get, he's signing somebody. Bobby Wagner now. I mean, that's just what happens in these situations. The Cowboys, I hate to always try to not pile on to y'all, but y'all got so many holes that you don't want to commit to.
Okay, but we did win 12 games 3 straight years. I don't.
We got.
Right?
Here, I'll read this to you. Cowboys have the most 12-win season, since you mentioned 12 wins.
That's important.
Without a playoff win. You know how many number that is? 6. I'm just, he mentioned it. I'm just giving it to him. Mike, I ain't no need to smirk and look at me like that. He mentioned it. I didn't mention it.
You're joking.
He mentioned it.
You're joking.
So don't tell me nothing about 12 wins.
I understand.
How do you make 12 wins bad? I need to understand this. You have gone into the books and made winning 12 games bad. How is this possible?
I just simply told you.
How is that possible?
Because he mentioned 12 wins as if 12 wins got you what you need. You're the history of the National Football League, as you keep telling me about the star and the
It gives you the first carrot, which means getting in the playoffs, winning a division. Now
you got 12 wins, man, and you ain't won. But with them 12 wins.
Yeah, not yet.
Then I can break you down even further if you just want to go into the state of Texas.
Not yet.
Okay, if you just want to talk the state of Texas in pro football,
what
the Houston Texans, okay, since 2011, the Cowboys have 3 playoff wins. You know what the Texans got? A nickel, 5. Mm-hmm. So I can keep on doing you like this on your way. You know, you fresh off the plane. You just fresh off the plane now. All right. I can keep digging at y'all.
Okay. Nothing, man. Listen. All his folks.
I'm sorry, Skip.
I don't know how he made 12 wins back.
I
don't know that. That's the best trick of a David Copperfield that you've ever seen.
That's not a trick.
Since he made
Skip brought it up. My dude, Skip Bayless, with the Dallas Cowboy blue on right now, brought it up.
I do. I look good.
No, you look great.
Yeah, thank you.
He brought it up.
Okay, my turn on Eric Kendricks. Scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 5. He's Stephon Gilmore-like in that he's 32 years old and he plays with his head more than his body at this point. And he knows Mike Zimmer, but more important, Mike trusts him. He'll call the defenses. He'll be the coach on the field for this team. I like all that. I like that San Francisco wanted him. That means something to me. But I read a list yesterday of the remaining free agents after 2 days of free agency, as USA Today had ranked them. And Eric Kendricks, I read 25 names, bam, 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 on this show. And he was the 18th name that I read. So that's about where he is, okay? Yeah. Pro Football Focus ranked him last year as the 26th best linebacker in pro football. That's not bad, not great. But remember, the Vikings released him a year ago, and then the Chargers flat out released him. It wasn't like he played out his deal and he was a prize on the free agent market. He's a nice cog to add because Leighton Vander Esch turned into a sad story. He's a really gifted player, Leighton Vander Esch, and you went through it with your neck. He just kept banging his neck up until finally the doctors said, you just can't play anymore. He's in the heart of his prime, and I think he's just going to have to stop and retire. We missed him last year. Okay.
And Leighton Vander Esch played a lot from the Sean Lee, took a lot from Sean Lee.
He did.
Which comes from this same cloth, same cloth that Kendricks cut from. And I'm going to tell you the importance of a player like this. He's not the greatest, but he's going to have everybody where they're supposed to be for the play. When we talk about complementary defense, this is the best chance we get. You are going to have everybody in position to make plays.
All right. We didn't get to them yet, but we're going to get to them now. The Lakers. What goes so wrong when the king plays the Kings? We debate now.
That was pretty good with that skill. I like that one.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp because your mental well-being matters. A lot of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. The question is, time for what? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? The best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. Therapy can help you find what matters to you so you can do more of it. Unlock the power of therapy with BetterHelp and witness the transformative benefits it brings to your life, from gaining valuable insights into your thought patterns to building resilience in the face of challenges. Therapy empowers you to navigate life's twists with confidence. BetterHelp offers a convenient online platform. It's designed to be flexible, fitting seamlessly into your schedule. With a simple questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at no extra cost. Learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/undisputedpod today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/undisputedpod. Your mental health journey begins here. It happened again. Last night in Sacramento, the Kings beat the Kings team, the Lakers, for the 8th time in 9 games. And once again, it wasn't even close. Kings led by 15 after 3 quarters and won by 13, 120-107. Lakers were 2-point favorites in this game. So, Keyshawn, what exactly happened this time?
Man, it's like you asking me this time, like I'm getting ready to come up with another excuse, right?
This time, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go low-hanging fruit.
Okay.
I'm gonna start off with Anthony Davis. Okay? You gotta keep Sabonis off the glass, number one.
Lord.
Okay? You just gotta keep him off the glass. I don't care what you do. When you down low, you gotta keep him off the glass. He dominated the glass, okay? He had nine more rebounds than AD.
He did.
On the defensive end, he had 14, AD had 7. There was no offensive putbacks on AD's side. He only had 3 offensive rebounds.
Yep.
So when you look at that, you say to yourself, what's going on here? We shot the ball well from 43%. That's
for you.
For us, it's pretty good shooting. But when you also got a guy who scored 44 points a couple nights ago, give you 1 into the fourth quarter, I can score 1 point. Hey, look.
You could.
He's an NBA player.
Yep.
You say offensive all-star type talent.
Yes, he does.
Right.
He didn't display that last night at all whatsoever. He hasn't displayed that since the 44.
Against the Milwaukee Bucks, he hung 44 on them.
And since that, he's gone like this.
Yeah.
All the way down to 1. LeBron played okay, but didn't score early. He didn't score early. It was almost as if he wanted to let the other guys get involved and do their things like Austin Reeves. And Austin Reeves, he had me for a minute going, yeah, they should give him an extension. Because he was lighting them up. He was playing real pro basketball. You know, he changed. I'm watching, I'm sitting there going, damn. Okay, this is what we talking about.
Maybe I'm right.
Off the dribble. Maybe you saw something and you like him. I ain't gonna say you right. But those are the sort of things. And then obviously, when you start thinking about De'Aaron Fox and in Sabonis and Monk.
Harrison Barnes. 7 threes.
Harrison Barnes was on fire on a consistent basis. Those are all the things that went wrong. And then when we got into the fourth quarter, we never closed the gap.
Yep.
Never felt good. And I turned the TV off, Skip.
Right.
I just turned it off.
I don't blame you a bit.
And Fox still mad about that Lonzo deal.
He is. He's still mad.
I did this thing to Lonzo in college, and y'all went on and still took him. And every time I see you, I'm gonna put this on.
So funny you mentioned.
What they do.
So funny you mentioned Lonzo. I ran into his pops yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Where?
At the convention I was at, the food convention.
Oh,
okay. I ran into pops.
All right, I haven't
Pretty
seen
funny.
Him.
I told him. I said.
Quiet.
I literally told him. I literally told him yesterday. I was just talking about you with the lethal shooter trying to figure out where the hell is LeVar. Oh, man, and he went into his whole LeVar deal. I said, okay.
His boys told him to calm out.
Probably so, who knows. But go ahead, Mike.
But boy, hey, LaMelo, he should be talking. LaMelo's a different beast over there. He can talk all he wants. That's a different beast. Now, a couple things, though, that I pull out. Dude, I wasn't here a couple weeks ago. Well, a week ago. When AD played at Minnesota, the way he played in Minnesota. Now, I was sitting at home. I'm an effort dude. I'm an effort hustle guy. And I think, if you out-hustle everybody, you're going to win. It just happens. That's what you've been drilled in us all our lives as athletes. But no coach ever cuts the guy that works the hardest and out-hustle everybody. And in that game, I watched him out-hustle everybody. He was snatching everything. I was like, man, if AD played like this all the time, this team would be undefeated, be the baddest team in the world. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And then to see the switch from to watching him now against Sabonis, and we just showed the clip of Sabonis attacking him. I mean, coming right at him. You a shot blocker, and he come right at him, and he's physical with it. He's physical. And I was like, come on, you just stay up and fight. He showed up pretty good. He put up 24 points, 12 rebounds. But when you compare it to what Sabonis was doing, then you say, okay, you guys got to step up and play better. I don't know what's going on with D. Russell. Man, some days this dude really do. And I think that's the biggest issue right here. I can't have that kind of a swing. If D. Russell, give me 15 points. If you could promise me 15 points, you ain't got to worry about going up to 40. Because just don't promise me, don't come back down to 1. Don't come back down to 1.
He promised you more than that because he said he welcomes the smoke. I know. So you welcome the smoke, and you invite this type of criticism.
I know a lot of people talk a lot of people talk, but I also heard where he was and read what he was saying. You know, he talked to LeBron about how does he stay so consistent, and LeBron tell him about his routine of reading and calming his brain and calming himself down and getting on a routine. And he says, I get on a routine and I'm better. But then what happens at these kinds of moments? Why do you come down to this? If you can get, they just get the rust. AD gonna do what AD does. And even when he looks like he looked last night, he still gives up 25 points a game. But if you get D'Angelo Russell, just give me some more stability. Promise me you're going to score 15 points a game and don't go to 40, and I believe we can do something with that. And as long as I know I have that. Because D. Russ looks like an all-star sometimes. And then you say, how can he not put the ball in the basket? And I think that hurts the Lakers a lot.
All right. Allow me to frame what happened last night because it just tore me up. I'm going to remind you, Sacramento was playing back-to-back, and usually it takes some out of you. They're not a young team, and they were minus Kevin Huerter, who usually kills the Lakers too, and he's a starter for them, and he did not play. And Trey Lyles comes off their bench and gives them impact off the bench, and he was not available last night. And I'm going to remind you about this Kings team. They're not world beaters against anybody else, only against the Los Angeles Lakers.
And they were happy to be getting out of their play-ins, their tournament stuff, right?
Okay, so March the 4th at home. This is not that long ago. I'm giving you March games. They lost at home to the Bulls. On March the 7th, they barely beat San Antonio without Wemby by 2 at home. And then March 10th, they turned right around and lost to Houston at home. This is the same team you saw last night. 8 out of 9 times, they have shellacked the Lakers. They have made the Lakers look like they're the Bulls or the Rockets or whoever you want to throw in there. They made the Lakers look like they'd played 7 straight nights last night when they walked on the floor because I didn't like the body language from anybody except early Austin Reeves. And Keyshawn, if he doesn't score 13 in the first quarter and 19 by halftime, you're probably blown out in the first half.
Oh, he was knocking shots down.
Yeah, so you're down 4. Going to halftime, and I'm thinking, okay, somebody's got to say something at halftime. Somebody's got to step up. It could be Braun. It could be AD.
Actually could have been up 2 before the half or tied.
You could.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. But it's a basketball game. It felt competitive at that point. And I'm thinking, okay, just come out and say, no, that's enough. All of you, the whole group, you need to come out. And it starts maybe with the center who says, watch this. I'm talking about when he plays with angry authority, I'm like, whoa, that's a top 5 player. So I'm going to show you what happens coming out of halftime. I'm going to show you 5 straight Laker turnovers, where I'm just saying, well, then just leave. Just go get on the bus.
LeBron, I know you're going to show that one.
But they're 5 in a row. These are 5 in 5 minutes. You're going to get smoked.
Oh, there's a LeBron one.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't make it up. I didn't. That's not CGI. He did that. And look, it's a run-out dunk. And then Rui comes down and whoops, and he runs over whoever it was, and that's that. And then D'Lo, sorry, they're going to go get an easy bucket, the other one. And then what was that? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Okay, there we go. So I just showed you 5 straight, and guess what happened? 10-2 happened, Sacramento, and Keyshawn, the game was basically over.
Yeah,
huh?
They won. They had 8
drought. There was a timeout being called.
And then just for your pleasure, I got to show you that LeBron had 3 turnovers in the third quarter. We got to show you the third one because you love these, right? This is the third LeBron turnover that led to a 14-point lead, and I'm saying when this happened. This is LeBron bleeping James, and Malik Monk gets a run out, and it's 14, and thank you, good night, drive home safely. Keyshawn, LeBron just wasn't into it last night, and I don't know why. Anthony Davis looks intimidated by Sabonis, who I don't think is even as tall as Anthony Davis is. So now I want to show you the 6 baskets that Sabonis made. And by the way, he had a triple-double, which is his 23rd of the year.
He's a bad boy now. No, Sabonis is a bad boy who don't get enough credit for how bad
he's a bad boy, but when Anthony Davis let the bicep or the tricep rub his chin and he laid on the ground, I knew it was over then.
All right, so let's see the 6 baskets because these are bully ball baskets when he gets going. He is not afraid. He just says, I'm going right up over you. Come on. This is a potential defensive player of the year. There he gets inside him again, and he just says, I'm going to out-muscle you, and I'm going to out-finesse you at the basket.
Oh, come
and
on,
then,
man.
Here we go. That's easy. And here's the one you're talking about.
Ooh.
Boom. Goes right through him, bully ball, and leaves him on his back.
You know me.
Yeah.
I zoomed in on the slow-mo. Man, he grazed his chin with his tricep. Man, come on.
Yeah, and he's too big to be flopping with that, man. Just bow up and play strong. Play strong. Play strong. That's all you got to do.
I think we'll be all right in a 7-game series, though.
Do you really?
Yeah, I don't put, as I said before, I don't get discouraged when I lose to a team. Because if I get to the playoffs and I see that same team, I got a 7-game stretch over a shorter amount of time.
You're right about
opposed to this, I play you in this week, I don't play you for another 3 weeks, and I lose to you. I just don't get all trippy about that. You look at last year, and you look at the Lakers last year, they struggled against the Golden State in the regular season. They struggled against them in the regular season.
Yeah.
Okay?
They dominated them.
In the playoffs, they dominated.
It wasn't even, it was 6, but
so
it wasn't even
that's why,
close.
and I look at Memphis. Last year, Memphis was an issue in the regular season.
Yeah, okay.
And
They were.
Then,
That's
when
fair.
we get to the playoffs, we took care of business.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about.
Okay, I don't worry on the same vein about Denver because you played the last 6 of the last 7 times you played them to the wire.
Yeah.
And in playoffs this time, I think you could flip that switch and figure it out.
You got to figure out how to beat Denver, though.
But with Sacramento in the regular season,
joke is different.
I look at it and I say, I can't even see any hope. Like it's not close. It never goes to the wire. These guys, to your point about De'Aaron Fox and Lonzo, and then
they take it personally.
And something about Malik Monk because the Lakers didn't want to keep him.
When was the last time LeBron James had an early exit out of the playoffs? When was the last time?
Early exit?
Yeah.
And you'll see a different LeBron.
You know, like Dallas Cowboy type exit. That's been a minute.
Okay.
Well, I don't know that.
Okay.
Because when he was in the East, it was just like a cakewalk to the
No, but it's been a minute. He usually is one of the last teams standing.
Right.
Sure.
So,
well, I mean, forever
he
has
knows how to play in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
But LeBron ain't your problem. LeBron's not your problem. LeBron's not your problem because LeBron.
No, LeBron is your problem.
Even that little play that you just showed, the turnover and LeBron. LeBron would run that down in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying.
That's when he would run that.
That's
He's going to run that down and kick that on the top of the backboard in the playoffs. Just not right here. And I'm okay with LeBron not running that one down because he's 100 years old. It's the other guys that's not playing every night. That's the problem.
I'm not in a panic and I'm calm because if we get into the playoffs,
you'll get that effort.
We will be one of the last teams standing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, LeBron clearly has the highest IQ in basketball, and it looks to me like when he steps on the floor against this team, he knows in his heart of hearts, in the back of his mind, we just don't match up. And his body language to me last night looked like, I don't know, like
it did.
Right? It looked like he was listless to me, like he's just sort of saying, we can't play with these guys.
The last time was against somebody in 2021.
Last time
they went early?
2021 early against the Suns.
Oh, yeah.
In 2021. That was the last
time.
time.
Was the first.
But that wasn't that team and coming out of COVID and all that. No.
Yeah.
No.
Because they went through the play-in to get to Phoenix. Is that what it was?
They didn't go to the play-in at all. No, they didn't go through. They only been in the play-in at one time.
Okay.
That was it.
When they beat Steph in a play-in game at Staples, right? Remember when LeBron said, I got hit in the eye and I couldn't see and I saw 3 baskets and I picked the middle one and he made a shot?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Right?
Yeah. That's a good way to. That's a good way. He saw 3, man. He made a shot. Michael Jordan never did that.
No, he never said, I see 3 and I'll pick the middle. Like, which door number 1, 2, or I'll pick door number 2.
But in all of this, I trust LeBron getting them there and everybody rallying around LeBron at the end and taking care of business.
Okay, I've just never seen a good team, and the Lakers are a good team.
But maybe like the Cowboys, they're gathering information about Sacramento.
And here,
they could be gathering information,
and
Michael.
that's all you wanted to see right here. Even if you lose the game, let's pull out the individuals. Let's pull out some things that Anthony Davis did, and you take the information in. You lost again.
You lost again.
Gathering information for the future.
Yeah.
For the playoffs. Right around the corner.
Austin Reeves, closer.
I don't know about closer.
Every
now,
game is gathered.
He's playing really good basketball.
All right, up next, I can't wait to hear these guys talk about this. The Bucs GM gives Baker the all-time weirdest compliment.
When it comes to travel, we all know that feeling of wanting to escape to our happy place, whether it's hitting the beach, the ski slopes, or just kicking it with your crew in a tropical paradise. And Priceline wants you to get there and be very happy with a happy price, so you never have to miss a trip. Let me tell you, Priceline has got your back to make it all happen. My happy place is Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Picture this: crystal clear waters, golden sands, and sun shining down on you like it's your personal spotlight. That's right. Cabo is my ultimate happy place. And you know what makes it even better? Priceline's VIP family feature. You heard it from me. That's right. VIP treatment for you and your squad. Imagine being with your crew, soaking up the sun and living your best life. And while scoring deals up to 5 times faster, it's like scoring a game-winning touchdown on vacation. Now, who am I taking with me to Cabo? To that epic trip, that adventure? My boys, my ride or dies, my crew, ones who've been there through thick and thin from the beginning to the end. I'm not taking any kids, no kids, just me and the boys living it up. So what are you waiting for? Download the Priceline app today and save up to 60% off select hotels and go to your favorite happy price with Priceline. Make some memories that'll last a lifetime. Cabo ain't ready for me or us, but we're ready for Cabo. Thanks to Priceline, the real MVP of travel.
Here's what Tampa Bay GM Jason Licht had to say about Baker Mayfield as Baker sat next to him at yesterday's press conference.
He set the tone for this team with his, well, for lack of a better word, he's probably a 1 out of 10. He's a 10 on the prick scale. So, sorry, Nelson.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Man, that one shocked me, though I agreed with the sentiment of it. Michael, how surprised are you that Jason Licht said that publicly?
I don't know Jason Licht, like in the area, like where I know you guys. So that means I don't know his humor. But is that a good situation? I thought that was a bad situation to say that right there. He's a prick, and I guess mean it in a good way. I mean it in a good way. Now, the reality is I just paid this man a lot of money to be the leader of my football team. I could have described that a lot of ways. You know, hey, this guy, he's gone through some things, you know, he's a fighter, he fights back, he plays hard, he works hard, he leads hard, and our guys follow that. You know, it's a lot of ways. But to say he's a prick and expect us to extrapolate that as something good, when, honestly, and I love Baker Mayfield. Baker and I've told Baker this. I love him. I love his moxie. I love his toughness. But other people have called him a prick, and not in a good way. So why add to that by saying, yeah, you know, I just came out of tough negotiations because we weren't sure where Baker was going to be, and I'm sure he thought he was this, and they wanted him at this, and we always talk about the emotions that go on in negotiations. Everybody end up saying, well, it's just not personal, it's all business. But it is personal. And things come out as personal. That's why Devontae Adams, after a while, said, you know, no, it's not personal, but personally, I'm just going to leave because you didn't get my money early enough, and I heard all that stuff you said about me in the room while we were negotiating. So I know it. I know the feelings are bad now, so I'm out of here. You just came out of negotiation, just in a press conference. That's why you're calling it. You're raising the hope level of everybody that you just did something great. Why drop that word right here? Why not say we got our guy? We got our guy. He led us to the playoffs. He led us the same team that Tom Brady didn't make to the playoffs. It didn't get there. He led us and won one. He took us farther than Tom, and we're so excited to see how farther this goes. Well, you know what I mean. Farther than Tom took us the previous year. He took them farther than Tom took them the previous year. And we're excited to see just how far and where this thing can go. We got our man. That's what that press conference was about. Not to come off and say that you got a prick.
I don't think Jason Licht was coming. He was making.
I don't think he was demeaning him. Yeah, I don't think he was demeaning him. I don't think he was demeaning him, making light of it. But since others have called him these words, then don't use them.
I understand what you're saying, but those others that have called him that word had a different experience with Baker Mayfield than Jason Licht and Todd Bowles.
But we don't know that.
Well, you obviously
they just came out of negotiation.
No,
so we don't know what that was like.
No,
we don't know
how. Obviously, know that because you just said, Michael. Other people have called him that word as describing him as something different.
Correct.
You clearly, at least I do. I clearly know that's not what Jason Licht is referring to. He's referring to we just gave him $100 million. Baker Mayfield is a prick because he's just he's got a certain intangible that makes him different. That's what differentiates one person from another is a certain intangible, right, Michael? When you talk about Michael Irvin at number 88,
you see it,
excuse me,
how you see it and how you describe it.
A little bit of both.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's not just what he does, how I see it and how I describe it.
But they're there with the man, so they see it a certain way. And what I was gonna say though is you got a certain intangibles that others don't have, that they wish they had, okay? That's why Baker Mayfield was able to get the $100 million. Because if you look at some other receivers, Michael, in the history of the National Football League, people would argue that they are more athletic, they're better, they this, they that. But at the end of the day...
I would capitulate that.
But wait, at the end of the day, they ain't got your damn intangibles. That's why they don't have them 3 Super Bowl rings. That's why they can't walk in the locker room with them ugly sleeves on. And everybody go, yeah, we get ready to go out in the second half and we get ready to do something to somebody. There are guys that are like that for both me and you, but they ain't got them intangibles. They're not different. There are people with better numbers.
Agreed.
But they ain't gonna lead the way Baker Mayfield is leading. And that's all he is trying to describe with his quarterback. He's not demeaning him at all, and I know you said that. He's not at all. He's just saying he's a prick. You know, I done been called a million different words by my coaches, and every last coach throughout my career, when I left them, they tried to get me back. Even John Gruden tried to get me back to come play with him, and we had one of the ugliest moments ever on national TV and sports.
You did.
Because that was my personality. And that's what drove me. That's why they loved me. Parcells took a job in Dallas and said, man, I need to get my guy back. That's just how it is.
Agreed.
Before you go, Skip, just one thing, Keith, but listen what you're doing. Listen what you're doing. You're talking about the guy that eats, sleeps, and uses the bathroom with you every day in a coach.
Yeah.
We're talking about a GM. He's not eating, sleeping, and using the bathroom with Baker Mayfield every day. You're not in the locker room enough to be calling this man a prick. To be honest with you. To be totally honest with you.
He's right there with him.
To be totally honest with you.
He knows him. He's right there with him.
You just came out of negotiations. You're not.
But I don't think so. But to be honest with you, Michael, I don't think their negotiations were hard. They didn't have a hard negotiation.
Either.
Not at all.
What do you mean? I don't think.
No, they didn't have a hard negotiation. They said from day one,
you're not going to pay Baker top dollar.
But wait, hold on, Michael. At the end of the season, the first thing they said is we want to bring him back.
They did.
That's what they said, Michael.
I know for a fact they gave him a number and they said that's the number.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And Baker took it because it's the smartest thing in the world for him to do.
It was.
Could Baker Mayfield have gotten could he have gotten that Kirk Cousins money potentially from Atlanta? Yeah, maybe, but it wasn't worth it to Baker. Baker said, I'd rather be with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Todd Bowles, who gave me a real opportunity to be the guy rather than go learn a whole new system, all these new things. These are my guys in the locker room.
Guys, let me just say this. What? If that is true, they could have signed it And now he never went into the free agency.
But he never went into the free agency.
Wait.
He never took a trip. He never did anything.
What I'm saying, they could have signed an extension before we even gotten here. If they wait, because what you just described is we knew at the end of the game, the last game they played, that we were going to sign Baker Mayfield. They didn't. I can't take that because why did we wait this long to get this deal done? Why we let him even go out here and test? Because at the end of the day, they're doing a job in a business, Skip. So if they say to yourself, we can re-sign Baker Mayfield, and then all of a sudden Josh Allen becomes available. Right. You he ain't going nowhere. They know, they right there with him. He ain't going nowhere. All of a sudden, just think about it. All of a sudden, Josh Allen becomes available. The fact that we are here.
You understand what I'm saying?
Go ahead, Skip. But the fact that we are here, I think, proves the point that I am saying, that why we're talking about it. Because you leave it open to be talked about when you use that word.
Michael, I appreciate you defending Baker on this, but I know for a fact the negotiation was not contentious at all. It was cut and dried, and yet he took $30 million a year versus Kirk Cousins in Atlanta got $50 million a year. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe Atlanta would come after Baker just to take him away from Tampa and bring him to Atlanta, but they didn't want to do that. They wanted Kirk Cousins. So $50 million versus $30 million, and Keyshawn stepped right up day one and said he should stay in Tampa.
Stay in Tampa.
Yeah, and I think
even if you get offered $50 million.
Even if you got offered $50 million.
That's not what we're talking about, though, guys. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about when he should stay in Tampa. We know that. We're talking about the GM calling him a prick. All right. That's the question that we're talking about. Everybody agreed he should stay in Tampa.
Real quick, I'm going to read a quote from Jason Licht that came from October just to reframe how he feels about Baker. Here we go. We could put this up so everybody can read along with me. This is in October from Jason Licht. Baker is a dude, and the players saw it right away. He took the offensive line to the Bahamas during camp after final cuts to play golf. He spotted around a town at dive bars with receivers, with Mike Evans, with Chris Godwin. It's not fake. He really knows how to be a dude with the team, and they love him. I believe every word of that.
And me too.
All right.
And me too.
All right. So here's
now the question is, why couldn't he use those words to describe him here?
But you hung up on a word, though, dog.
Okay.
No, we're hung up on the word. That's why we're talking and having the conversation.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
It's funny. I taped a podcast yesterday, and I did a segment on Baker, and I talked about the other word that he often gets called by people who don't like him, and it sounds a lot like the word that Jason Licht used, but there's another word that's even worse. And my point is, remember Baker at Oklahoma. It's what I loved about him because he planted the flag at Ohio State after he played.
Well, he didn't go into turf.
Okay, but he tried. He tried. But that was after he played what Urban Meyer described as the best game any quarterback has ever played against me at Ohio State. Yeah. Then remember what he did? He got into it with the Kansas players and he grabbed his crotch and when he was trash talking to him. Yeah. And remember, the TCU kids were running across the back end line of his end zone. And he just said, okay, watch this. And he drills one of them right in the helmet with the football as hard as he could throw it. Okay, that's what he is made of. That's what ignites football teams around. That's what I love about him, but it rubs some people the wrong way. Yeah. So Jason Licht reached for an analogy using a word he should not have used in public because it just doesn't come across right. But I think he intended it to be for all the right reasons.
Absolutely,
and it's 100%. A word that no GM has ever uttered in the history of the National Football League in public, right? Right. I'm pretty sure. I've never heard
Not after giving up $100 million. No. I gave it to a prick.
Yeah, right? Okay.
So, all right. So that, listen, I don't know why y'all fight me on this.
I'm not fighting you on it, man.
But I'm just saying it's not that bad. But obviously, it is bad enough. We are talking about it when they had a press conference and they wanted us to be talking about how great of a move this is for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a great, smart move. And we are not talking about what it means on the football field. We're talking about why he used the word prick. And I don't care what, this alone make it a bad opportunity, make it a bad decision on his part. Okay. This segment right here proves my point and says, don't do it again.
Let me ask you a question. We right here.
Yeah. Why are I don't know, because I'm just a big guy, man. I don't know. I've been a big guy. I got a big boy.
Right here.
I ain't yelling. I'm just talking strong. That's the difference. Yelling is this. talking strong is what I do.
Well, why are you talking strong, man?
I talk strong.
I'm right here. I hear every word you're saying. I understand that. But I also think that Jason Licht is just saying that he has a certain intangible that a lot of people wouldn't put up with, and we put up with it, and we blessed him. He earned it with this contract, and we have him. We're blessed to have him. That's the way I look at it, okay? They have some sort of relationship well enough that general manager chose that word because he was comfortable with it. That relationship is good enough.
No, it's good.
It's good enough.
I'm not saying it's not good, guys. We're two different things. Again, I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying it was a bad decision. I'm saying all of that is.
So what would you have liked for him to say?
Any other word?
Michael?
He could have just what I said.
He's
a tough, hard-nosed leader. That's what you just described. We all just described.
I do believe as soon as the word came out of his mouth, I could see Jason Licht. You could see he was like,
because the media probably sitting there and they probably was like, they body language.
Correct. Because why are you calling this dude a prick? And you just he's leading your team now.
He has called him that in practices on the field, talking to him like, you're a prick, man. Cheating, Stop being a prick. You know how that goes. But I'm happy for Baker.
Me too. Me too.
The ironic part of this is we all love Baker.
Baker's a good dude, man. And that's why I just describe him as he is.
He's never been anything but a good dude to me. I also understand when you're in bad situations, sometimes people look at you differently because everybody's pointing a finger at you, even though they don't know what a mess it is that you're in.
I still say, and you agree with this, the worst decision he ever made was his rookie year.
Police in Oklahoma and got caught.
No, well, that was a bad idea because he got thrown against a brick wall.
I told him when I was helping him with the Cowboys, I was like, man, they had on a uniform. You couldn't even separate from them. And you think you get ready to go run a 40?
What was he doing in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Help me out. I don't know about that one. But what we agreed on was right out of the box as a rookie quarterback, first overall pick, he starts doing progressive commercials, and they were good. But they were relentless, man. And he had accomplished nothing in this league. And he drew a target on his back that got bigger by the commercial, right? And it was hard to overcome that for a while because he won 7 games as a rookie for a team that was 0-16. That was pretty good. And everybody said, well, wait a second.
And they needed that.
He played for Hugh Jackson.
Yeah. Right. It was a mess.
That looks like a truck driver.
It was a mess.
And whatever his name was. I can't even think of his name.
No head coaching experience.
None.
Freddie
Kitchens.
Yeah.
Come on.
Good guy, but he looks like a truck driver.
That doesn't make him a good coach.
No, I know.
Looks like a truck driver.
What y'all guys talking about, man? What does a good coach look like? What does a truck driver look like, guys? Come on now. Now y'all acting like the GM for the Bucs. Call that man a prick. Now you got to stop that.
I just called him a truck driver.
What is that? What does a truck driver look like?
He had the look, man. The hat, the little scruffy beard.
I'm speaking for all truck drivers in this country. Y'all leave.
Don't worry, they're not going to hit up your Twitter, man. You're all right.
Workers, man. They're hard.
All right, in a moment, we discuss this. We debate this. How big a threat does Michael Irvin believe Saquon will be to the Cowboys?
God, what a player.
Now they win the Super Bowl.
Okay, the latest news on Saquon Barkley involves his coach at Penn State, James Franklin, saying Eagles GM Howie Roseman spoke directly to Saquon during the legal tampering period, which is against the rules. The Eagles deny this happened, and it doesn't sound like anything will come of it, mainly because I'm pretty sure this silly rule gets broken a whole lot by just about everybody. So let's keep the main thing here, the main thing. Michael, we haven't heard from you on this subject. Scale of 1 to 10, how big a threat will Saquon as an Eagle be to the Cowboys?
And just one quick on that tampering stuff. It's so hard to try to police that, you know what I mean? Because people are friends, guys are friends, people know people. And I just told you, look, I'm having dinner with, Michael Tomlin or Mike McDaniels at the Combines. People see each other in those areas. You're going to talk to people. You talk to him, we talk all the time. So even if he saw him like something like that and say, hey, what's up, boy? You're a free agent, you're great talent. Hey, that's not anything. I mean, we bring things. And I don't know what happened there, but I'm just saying, we always talk. But now, him as a threat, and I'm what number and where I'm at on the scale of worrying about it.
Yeah.
I put it at about, I'll give it all the way to a 7. I'm going to go 6 3/4, but a 7 in this sense. Because let me tell you, where you were weaker, where you were weakest, I should say, is where he adds on to the Eagles. You saw some of those gaps and run gaps that the Cowboys were giving up, man, in last year. You put Saquon in some of those gaps, that's a touchdown because he's a home run hitter. He's a home run hitter. That worries me. That worries me. But I flip on the other side and say, I know the kind of talent he is, and I know Philly wants to get back to running the football because that's all they talked about last year. They got away from being able to run the football. But then they also brought in Kellen Moore, and that's never been something that he's always pushed. As a matter of fact, that's why they pushed, to stay with that word, him on out of Dallas.
They did.
Because he wouldn't run the ball. Yep. And Mike McCarthy said, I wanted more stability and more complimentary football right there. I see the home run talent. I see it, and I know it's going to do great in Philadelphia, and it's a great pickup for Philadelphia. But it's at about a 7, a worry, because I know Kellen Moore knows in order to move his position, handing that ball off ain't how he's going to move his position. He's going to put that ball up in the air, and we'll get some opportunity. So I put it at about a 7.
And you?
Key?
Just a 10. But it's not just a 10 to the Dallas Cowboys. It's a 10 to the entire league. Okay? It's a 10 to the entire league. This has nothing to do with the Dallas Cowboys. And I looked at you like that, Michael, because this is not about Kellen Moore. This is just not. I understand what you're saying based on what you had at the running back position in his last stop in Dallas. You looking at that and saying he liked to throw the ball all over the place. He's an ex-quarterback, that sort of things. That may be true. But, you know, the Dallas Cowboys did run the ball with him. They just didn't run it at the right times. They decided to throw when they should be running and running it when they should be throwing. That's why he was with the Chargers. That's why. Mike McCarthy changed that a little bit, okay, to a degree where the offense was still the same. He just did it differently. When I look at Saquon Barkley, it's the value that you get with Saquon Barkley for the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, when you start thinking about it, think about the running back position versus the wide receiver position. He's going to touch the football, me and Michael was talking about this, way more than somebody like Gabe Davis that they just gave $14 million to.
3 for 39. 3 for 39 million.
He ain't no difference maker. This dude is a major difference maker. This is the first time in his entire career that he's going to have an offensive line that looks like this, except his rookie year when he went for over 2,000 yards at scrimmage. When you talk about A.J. Brown, Dallas guy,
catching the ball out the backfield,
Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. Oh, and by the way, let's not rule out Kelsey unretiring to join this. Let's not just rule that out yet.
He says he won't.
I know, and so did Tom Brady. But when you have a coach and a general manager and an owner saying, come sit down and eat with us, we want to talk to you, those conversations can change your mind in a heartbeat.
After you have some time off and you're feeling better, you're right.
Come on. We need you. We need you, Jason. We need you.
Right.
It's a different conversation.
And that'll move my number to an 8.5
when you look at, and I understand everybody that plays against the Dallas Cowboys, you measure them, Skip, on whether they're good or bad. If they had a good game against the Cowboys, they're the greatest thing ever. If they played bad, they're the worst thing ever. I know how you do that. So what I would say to you, and you know this, Michael, when we go in and we game plan and we looking at certain personnel and certain personnel groupings and players, the first thing we say, oh, they ain't got nobody, man. We bomb them all day long. They ain't good. We can tear that corner up. You know what teams did with Saquon Barkley in the New York Giants? They walked in that room, they go, if we stop number 26, we going to win the game, man. We not worried about the receivers. We not worried about Daniel Jones. We not worried about the Ingrams. We not worried about none of these dudes. We only worried about number 26. So let's stop him. We shut him out, shut him down. We win the game. But they can't do that now. It's so much easier for him in Philadelphia with them weapons, okay, at his disposal, and with a quarterback that's got to bounce back and knows that he needs to have a bounce back year, and he will, it's gonna be crazy for the league in general with this dude in the backfield. I'm just telling you.
Okay, I stand by what I said. Saquon is overhyped. And I use Dallas as my primary example because we can't stop anybody's run. Our bar is low, and we have been run off the football field even this past year at Arizona and at San Francisco and at Buffalo. Go look at the numbers. We have been notoriously and historically porous in interior defense, where I would think 26 would gash us and run us off the football field if he's what you guys believe that he is. I believe you're blinded by the lights, as in the highlights, because his highlights rank with anybody's, anywhere, anytime. But I'm here to tell you and to remind you, against the Dallas Cowboys, their arch rival, not ours, we don't look at them as an arch rival, but they look at us as like, we got to beat that team. They love to beat this team. Saquon went 0-10 against Dallas. Saquon had only two 100-yard games against Dallas, and the first one of those 100-yard games featured a 69-yard run, and the second 100-yard game featured a 58-yard run. Do the math on all his other carries, and they'll average out to about 2.6 yards per, because he is the classic example of the great home run hitter, if I can go baseball on you, who will lead the league in strikeouts and hit 220. But he's going to lead the league in home runs because he's going to hit one or two a game. But if you can just keep it to a low roar, which the Dallas Cowboys were able to do, he did not transcend in those games. He didn't take those games over. I'm sorry. Everybody else could take games over against us except Saquon.
But he was talking about that because they go in game plan Wednesday, and that's the only number they put on.
So let me ask you this, though, Skip,
it's
real quick.
26. Now they're going to be more names on that board.
Let me ask you this, though, Skip. You smart, man. You've been around this stuff forever. You know rosters up and down. Could you name one receiver
that's what I'm thinking.
for the New York Giants that you would even? But you can name plenty of them for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
Yeah.
So
is he that dude or not? Is he? I don't even need to hear any other receivers.
Of course.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting what you said. You said he's overhyped. I was sitting here contemplating, are you saying overhyped? Does that also mean overrated? You know what I mean? You can be
overrated is too harsh for him because he's a talent. I got it. But we're overhyping the impact he can have. It's why the Giants finally said, no, too rich for our blood.
The Giants are not in a position, Skip.
Okay, but
and they had, as I told you, when free agency tampering period first opened up, they're not a good football team. So to go spend money on Saquon Barkley right now makes zero sense. Plus, on top of that, he wants to win. You had 2 years to get a long-term deal done. The Philadelphia Eagles was able to do that in less than 24 hours. In less than 24 hours.
All right. And you gave him $24 million guaranteed.
26.
$26 million. I'm thinking he's number 26. I'm saying 26,
because he is
26.
more valuable than people like Gabe Davis at a different position. So we devalue the running back position.
We're about to talk about Calvin Ridley got $50 million.
Wait. Let's back up a little bit.
What you want to back up to?
Let's back up to the Saquon Barkley and your theory of where you think.
There's no theory, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, where you think his value is now, because when we start talking, we talked about, is he overhyped or is he overrated? Does he have talent? Yes. In New York, and that's why I posed the question, overhyped, overrated, because in New York, in the New York media, we were getting him in New York. He has talent. He has great talent. You put him with Philadelphia, that's going to free him up in a lot of ways in what you're talking about.
100%.
Because in New York, everybody focused on him. It was all on him.
He's the guy.
But you're saying when he said that New York let him go, well, New York had to let him go. New York didn't have to. They kept Daniel Jones.
Yeah, they made a decision
and let him go.
The wrong decision.
The wrong decision. That's why I wanted to get to that part. They made the wrong decision because they could have kept him there. And it does make you wonder what Skip is saying. Now, if you have him every day, How are you going? We see Daniel Jones. You see Daniel Jones. How can you make that decision over him? Something's that he believes something's there. I don't believe anything's there. I think he's going to do great in Philadelphia because of the other talent. You got to focus on A.J. Brown.
That's why I said to Skip, name me one receiver outside of OBJ that he played with in New York that you can think of. That was that was anything at all.
And Tony was there for a while. And I remind you both. I remind you both. Just a year ago, they made the playoffs. They went to Minnesota and they beat Kirk Cousins. Daniel Jones beat Kirk Cousins. Okay, but I'm just saying.
And so did Dak Prescott, and so did all the other quarterbacks.
Right. Well,
that's not a great measuring stick.
Well, it is. To make the playoffs, they're not a bad football. You can't make the playoffs and be a bad football team. I don't care what you say.
They backed into the playoffs out of badass division.
Okay.
And
speaking of bad football teams, you overlook the fact.
That's not the Cowboys, man. No, I'm talking about the Giants.
Y'all
backed into the number 2
I know, but a bad division.
It's a bad division.
Okay, wait a second. The Philadelphia Eagles, I just watched them lose 6 of their last 7 games and look terrible. Look like they lost their way, man.
And I've never seen that. At the end of the season,
okay, with all those weapons.
First of all, they had 2 different defensive coordinators throughout the season. Okay, they had a brand new offensive coordinator that really didn't seem like he understood the plan. Okay, and you had a quarterback that was nicked up. That was last year. This year, they've gotten better. They just went out and brought C.J. Gardner-Johnson back that understands their system.
Okay, you know what? To me, he scares me more than Saquon does.
All right.
He is a catalyst. He is a Super Bowl catalyst.
Don't be scared.
And that's where they were. That's where they were most vulnerable last year. On the back end.
Howie Roseman.
Now that's a great pickup.
It was.
That was a great pickup.
Howie Roseman is doing something that the Dallas Cowboys never do.
I agree. Because look at C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Everywhere he goes.
No, I'm not. I'm not Tad.
Now you want Tad.
Everywhere C.J. Gardner goes, something happens good. In New Orleans.
What did Philadelphia, you just said they back in. They went and addressed it.
Yes, they
with a guy that knows what the culture in Philadelphia is.
And a guy that causes turnovers, and that's what they need also on that back end. And that's why I thought that was a guy that they
said no to. Skip, you know how they say no to people all the time? Like you say, they said no, they didn't want him a couple years ago. He had to go to Detroit and take a 1-year deal.
He did.
That's what they said. We're sorry. Come on back. We're going to give you a 3-year deal.
Unfortunately, he's now sorry because he blasted Philadelphia fans as he left town.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I'm back. Y'all love me. I'm here with y'all again.
Okay. The first turnover, they'll be okay. But you're wrong, Skip, to think Saquon Barkley is just a talent and all hype. You're wrong, man. I'm telling you, you're wrong.
Numbers against Dallas, he averages 2.6. It's just
don't give a damn about them in the Dallas Cowboys.
We can't stop anybody, but we stopped him routinely and consistently.
And that's fine. But their offensive line was poor. And it's a simple focus. There's no receivers, Skip. Opposite of him, you're not afraid of his quarterback play. Like, come on.
Now it'll be different. It will be different. Saquon will have better games, and the Cowboys are going to be worried about him in this spot.
100%.
With those boys on the end, there's no getting around that.
I'm taking Philly to win the division.
Okay, I'll say as many problems as we have, I'll still take Dallas to win the division.
And they're still the favorite. They came out still the favorite, and it's going to be interesting. Now we can talk about it. And I said it. I said. Here's the kicker. You mentioned it, and maybe just messing around because Jason Kelce was messing around. But if he did come back, now that number goes from 7 to 8.5. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Philadelphia fans, get ready now. You're going to really realize how much you love this man. Because when we lost Travis Frederick, it's hard to find those kind of centers that set the stage. I mean, Travis Kelce didn't just block. He called the plays. He called the line. It's everything like Travis Frederick, and it gets different when you lose that center. If he comes back, it'll be different.
How many times in our careers, both as players and analysts, we've watched guys prematurely retire and teams say, man, don't do that. Just come on back. Let's have a steak dinner and let's talk about this. We see it all the time with guys like this.
Yeah, you're beat up.
Guys like this.
Right. You're beat up, you're tired.
You're not ready to retire yet. You don't want to do that. They gonna watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you.
By the way, we just lost our center, too.
Yeah.
You realize that?
Yeah,
He's pretty good.
But it wasn't Travis.
No.
It wasn't Travis.
No.
You mean Jason?
He's talking about Kelsey. He's talking about Travis.
I'm talking about Frederick.
Frederick.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Travis Frederick. That different dude.
Woo!
Different dude.
Cowboys gonna be in trouble. I can't wait.
Man.
Ooh, I'm gonna watch you at the sports bars and we hanging out.
Eagles.
You call trouble.
Kirk Cousins says he wants to retire a Falcon.
Oh, man. Oh,
Will the Falcons end up wanting him to retire as a Falcon? That's the question.
So after his 2 seasons, he gonna retire because he know he.
Here's what Kirk Cousins had to say at his Welcome to Atlanta press conference yesterday, and I quote, I think in Minnesota it was trending over the last couple of off seasons to being somewhat year to year. And as we talked with Atlanta, it felt like this was a place where if I play at the level I expect to play, that I can retire a Falcon. So, Michael, we didn't get your reaction to Cousins getting $100 million guaranteed dollars to sign with the Falcons. Will this turn out to be a great deal, an okay deal, or a bad deal for Atlanta?
I don't see how it can be a bad deal. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of people that think of things, think they have their thoughts of Kirk Cousins, but I don't see how this is a bad deal. I thought this was, what would be a word to describe it, even over the top of what you just said, that word great. This was a superb deal.
Really?
Superb deal. Superb deal. My favorite candy. Now and Laters were my favorite candy growing up. I sold them in elementary. Now and Laters. This gives me my favorite candy right here. You signed Kirk Cousins to Atlanta with the talent they have right now, that young talent, that Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. I'm going to get the most out of them right now. Going to get even Justin Fields cheats these young men because these young men are ready to make another step. Another level up. They want somebody that knows how to disperse this football to them. Now, you get Kirk Cousins to come in. I can also, while I got Kirk Cousins in here now, still work on my later. I got my guy right now so I can get the best out of my talent on this offense right now, and I'm still hunting down my later. So I can bring in a young quarterback that will take over for Kurt in 3 years or 4 years when he leaves, and I'll get my now and later with Bijan Robinson, with Drake London, and with Kyle Pitts. I'll get great play out of them now because Kurt's going to raise their level up. I'll get great play out of them later because I'll raise a quarterback up to get them the football. Justin Fields, I wanted a man also in Atlanta that understands what the talent they have is. Drake London is a receiver. You're not going to see a whole bunch of separation, but put the ball in the air, and I guarantee you he can go and get it. Justin Fields just coming out of a situation where everybody was bothering him about throwing interceptions. He needs to see people wide open before he let that ball go. Kirk Cousins doesn't need to see people wide open. Justin Jefferson was not open. He threw the ball anyway, and Justin Jefferson caught it anyway. So Kurt already knows. I got me another one of those area code receivers. I can put the ball up in the air. Drake London will come down and make those plays. This was superb for Atlanta. Right now, they're winning the NFC South. You win your division first. Remember, they played Tampa tough last year. They split with Tampa last year. They split with Tampa. First game, I think 13-16. It was a tough game. This puts them over the top, I think, of Tampa and in the lead to win the NFC South. A superb deal.
Okay, timeout. What your favorite candy now and later?
Now and later.
I've never heard of it. You know now and later?
Yeah, you know now and later.
I don't know.
I feel like now and later was only, I hate to be this, but I feel like it was only in the ghetto, though.
It was.
Was it?
It was. That's how I made my money off of it. Thank you for telling me. Because I would go buy a whole pack of for a quarter in the ghetto, and then they were busting people out. I would go and sell each by 15 cents one. So I made my money.
Watermelon.
All of them. Now and later. You can eat some now and save some for later.
They're like a taffy, a very hard taffy type candy. Right. Yeah.
And do they come? Are all the flavors in a package?
No, so each individual flavor.
Right.
Each one apple, lemon.
They never had.
I hated grape. Grape was the worst because grape was what? Cherry was the worst. Okay. Watermelon. So they had the fruit.
And no chocolate.
No. That's not a candy bar. It's a little square, candies wrapped in a little package, and you probably had 10 of them, 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And they cost like a dime to 25 cents, depending on the area.
Back then.
Yeah, they wasn't out. Yeah.
Okay. And then since I was getting busted, you go out there, the kids didn't have them in their neighborhood. They were spending good money
so funny,
for
man.
Right.
Hilarious.
Now and
you even more hilarious.
Good. You good now, and you're gonna be good later.
Right.
And honestly, though, Atlanta, that's exactly what I think they got.
Question though, Michael, and don't go for 18 minutes. How are they good later?
Well, because now it gives them an opportunity to develop a young quarterback. While they have Kirk Cousins. See, but you got to go get him anyway. Yeah, so if you don't go get Kirk Cousins and you go get the young quarterback, I'm foregoing the now in hopes that when I get him right, we're going to be great later. I want it now and later because the talent that you have says produce now. You could produce now. I think they surprised themselves last year doing what they did, even without that quarterback position secure.
They fought hard.
They fought hard.
Hard in a very bad division. Extremely hard. The division came down to 3 teams in the end. Atlanta, Tampa, and New Orleans that didn't have anything, Michael.
Right.
So you go and you pay.
My point.
You go and you pay $180 million contract, whatever. I don't care about that. But the $90 million guaranteed, $100 million guaranteed. 90 over the first year and a half or whatever it is paid to him cash. Or the blank has it, it's no problem. Write the check, keep it moving. We saw what he did with Julio Jones, gave all Julio Jones money to him in a 12-month calendar. What are you getting out of that? Because you're not going to beat the San Francisco 49ers. You're not going to beat them.
Right.
You're not going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. You're not going to beat...
You're saying, are they in the upper tier?
Yeah, but so I'm going somewhere with this.
Right.
If I'm paying this type of money to the quarterback, Skip, I better be going somewhere. Because in a minute, you're going to waste the talent that you have around you.
Yep.
And on top of that, this young talent is not growing with an old quarterback. Young talent, old quarterback. Let me say it again. Young talent, old quarterback.
Right.
2 years from now, Kirk Cousins will be going bye-bye. You'll be in the same position that you are in right now, looking for an established quarterback to now take that younger talent that has grown to new heights. Why? Everybody else is getting...
Then you failed your own plan. Then you failed your own plan. It's a bad plan. No. It's you failed the succession of the plan.
It's not a bad plan. You're spending this type of money to do what?
To win right now, to get in the playoffs right now.
Oh, you just want to get in the playoffs? Your goal is to just fight in a bad division, to go 9-8 again, to get into the playoffs, and you pay a quarterback that has one, it ain't all his fault, but one playoff win. So when I look at it, and I look at quarterback position, I play with a whole bunch of them, and so did you. I think I have an expertise, a master's in quarterback, a PhD, and whatever else is out there that you can get and earn when you're looking at quarterbacks. Yeah.
On the back.
If you would have told me that they acquired Justin Fields for whatever pick it would have done and taken, I would have said, that's a move right there.
I agree with that.
That's a move.
That's a move.
Because not only forget the butts in the seats, because that we can forget about what he did for the city, being a Georgia guy, but you got young talent that you grow with in a quarterback that can play. On top of this, mind you, you got a head coach who's not a first-time head coach, but essentially is a first-time head coach because in Tampa, he got hired at the 11th hour. And he really didn't get a good shot.
He had one good year. They went 10-6.
But he got hired at the 11th hour, so he still was young and the whole deal. That quarterback issue with Josh Freeman and the whole thing.
They did.
Raheem can do well in Atlanta, but you got a first-time defensive coordinator in Jimmy Lake, who's never been a DC in the National Football League, and you got a first-time ex-quarterback coach off of Sean McVay's staff that wasn't calling the plays for the Rams, that's now your offensive coordinator. So it's a lot of new stuff going on with all these young pieces in Kirk Cousins. So to think that they just gonna walk in and win the division over Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and that defense and Todd Bowles, no, it's not gonna be like that, Michael. I'm just telling you. I think they will win
the division.
Okay, that's fine. I don't.
They will win the division.
I don't. I think Tampa wins the division. Skip probably thinks the same.
Right. But before you go, Skip, I want to jump back on this Justin Fields thing, because I think we get into this place. Justin Fields, I believe, heard himself in all of his comments and talking about how, listen, I don't want to be thinking too much. I just want to play. Atlanta wanted a disperser of the football. Justin Fields, great at running with the football, but hey, you got that kind of talent, you want to disperse the football. And that's why I like Atlanta going to get Kirk Cousins over Justin Fields. What did you got Justin Fields, you got still another young quarterback like they had last year in Ridley, and all those guys that you don't know. You don't know how to discern defenses like Kirk Cousins does.
Fields is a 10, Ritter's a 2. Are you crazy?
And running. No, I'm talking about in discerning defenses and laying it out. Justin Fields said he didn't want to do it. I need Kirk Cousins doing it. Let's be real here. I don't want somebody running the ball. I want somebody throwing the football when I got that kind of talent. And that's what he is. He's a thrower of the football. That's why I went and got it.
If you want somebody to throw the football, that's fine. But don't sit here and tell me that Justin Fields isn't capable of throwing the football.
I didn't say he's not. He can throw, but
the man done had 3 damn offensive coordinators in a short period of time and 2 different head coaches. That's terrible.
So I understand all of that.
And nobody to throw the football to except DJ Moore last year. Nobody else.
Correct.
One guy. We just talked about Saquon Barkley in the red dot. Red dot guy, Skip. You don't think DJ Moore was a red dot guy? That was it. Stop DJ Moore and they can't do nothing. Go ahead, Skip. Michael be talking wild.
Michael.
I'm going to let Skip go, but I'm going to get it back in here.
You love Kirk Cousins, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, you had him as an MVP last year.
But I'm looking, but guys, it's not about my love for Kirk now.
Skip go.
It's about looking at Atlanta.
I understand what you're saying. But this is the most overpaid football player in the history of football. He's going to make $412 million when this deal is finished in 2 years. And Tom Brady in 21 years made $333 million. That is mind-blowing to me because Kirk Cousins has 1 playoff win, as Keyshawn pointed out, out of 3 to 4 tries because he's 1-3 in the postseason. And he's coming off an Achilles tear to boot. I'm sure he'll be fine, but this is the classic case of being at the right place at the rightest time to get paid. If you want to talk about how to play the game off the field, nobody has played the game better than Kirk Cousins.
Nobody.
And yet, if you look hard at his resume, he will put up some regular season numbers, but he's not there when you really, really need him. And to your point, maybe with the young weapons, he will disperse and be just what the doctor ordered for the young players early on. I will give you that, but I don't know where you're going because the candy I'm seeing in Atlanta is later and later because it's later and later because they just added to the Kirk Cousins insanity by giving him $50 million and $50 million guaranteed for $100 total million guaranteed when Baker got $30 million a year.
There's the issue right there. There's the issue, and we need to figure out how you get that part out because it's not about Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. It's about Kirk to beat the whole system, and people are taking that and putting it against Kirk because Kirk beat the whole system. He made $412 million. All that may be true. All that may be true. I'm not talking about him beating the system. I'm talking about what he brings on the football field and what he gives to this football team and the talent this football team has. Bijan Robinson is a special player.
Oh, he's special.
He's a special. I don't think Kurt's ever had a running back.
No, hold on. Let me stop you in your tracks. I was just about to say something. You said he ain't never had a talent like that. What you think was in the offensive system in Minnesota? You thought Dalvin Cook was a nothing?
Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is great.
No, I'm talking about when Dalvin Cook was there.
And Kurt had two groups of wide receivers that he did well with. Yeah. That's how I know he's going to do well with this group of receivers in Atlanta. You ain't seen Justin Fields have any great success with any group of receivers, so you can think he can go over here and just all of a sudden tear this up. That's the part that trips me out. We're talking much about his money.
If you are missing weapons as a quarterback, Michael, you're not going to look good. Every young quarterback, all of them, they go get receivers for young quarterbacks, man. Josh Allen, Diggs, they wouldn't got him to help him. Jalen Hurts, they went and got A.J. Brown to help him. They went and got him.
We're killing this because I'm not saying what you're saying is right by Justin Fields. I'm just saying right now he hadn't shown me that he can.
He can't show you nothing.
And that's why this for Atlanta was the better option, and that's what we're discussing.
It might have been the better option, but my whole point in all of this is they ain't going nowhere. As I told Falcon fans yesterday as they asked me, why would we pay this quarterback this type of money? I said to maybe get a playoff appearance once, maybe twice, and that's it. Because you're not beating those other teams in the NFC. You're just not.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. And I guarantee you, when they win the division this year, they'll keep adding on. That team will keep getting better. I just hope they have a succession plan in place. Just find you a young guy in the next 3 years to take over so you can have that now and later.
Michael, they just gave this guy $100 million. You're talking about next?
Next 3 years.
Who's got next?
Yeah. Next 3 years, though.
3 years.
They paid somebody $100 million to talk about 2028. Yeah. Come on, man.
Well, wait a minute. Wait. The question was, how good of a deal is this? I told you it's a perfect deal because it gives them what they need right now. Right now, they're able to compete.
They could have taken Ryan Fitzpatrick and paid him to throw the ball to people.
Stop, man. Stop. No,
I know he was your MVP candidate.
That has nothing to do with it.
It does.
We got to talk about another big guarantee because the Titans gave Calvin Ridley $50 million guarantee.
See what I mean? Calvin Ridley, you got to get ready to deal with this now. You know, beat the system with the money. They're going to hold that against you. Y'all can't hold that. Yes, with Jason Garrett, I want. Yes,
this one dropped my jaw. The Titans signed Calvin Ridley to a 4-year, $92 million deal with $50 million guaranteed. $50 million guaranteed. So, Keyshawn, will Calvin Ridley be worth $50 guaranteed?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, you think about it, Skip, and I told you the second wave, we were talking about the list. I'm like, second wave is just because everybody, like Michael said, is just jumping out there early doing the tampering period and agreeing to deals. Yep. There are people still to this day, right now, that'll be agreeing to big deals once we're off this show.
Agreed.
It's money well spent. You got a young quarterback in Will Levis in Tennessee. You got a new head coach in Callahan. Okay, you signed a running back. You putting an offense together with DeAndre Hopkins over there as a veteran guy who could teach Calvin Ridley some things. But think about Calvin Ridley's last full season in the NFL in 2020.
Yep.
90 catches, 1,300 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Big time.
Big time.
Yep.
And then he was suspended, obviously, or whatnot, and then he goes to Jacksonville. And they're trying to put things together, and there's a certain pecking order that started with Kristen Kirk, and then Zay Jones, and then Ingram the tight end, and Travis Etienne at the running back position. So now he becomes the guy in Tennessee. If you know anything about him, he can stop on a dime and get some change and start right back up. He can run the routes with the best of them that's ever done it. And what he was suspended for was ridiculous to begin with, okay? It was just, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to a lot of us, even though they say, hey, don't do this.
The rule is the rule.
The rule is the rule. That's why I said that.
But it's made more ridiculous with how much gambling is everywhere now.
That's why it's ridiculous.
And that's why the NFL is starting to try to look at
it makes all the sense in the world for him. I knew he would come in at a high number. He deserves it. I'm happy for him, and I think he'll produce.
I think it's important to say here, as a measure of talent, that when you look at these numbers, you say, ooh, wow. But when you look at his talent, you say the same thing, ooh, wow. If you ever saw this dude on the football field, that's exactly what you say. And the thing is, Doug Peterson talked last year. And I'm sure if you ever get Doug in an interview and you talk to him, he'll say, this one will bother him for a while. He still led Jaguars 76 receptions, 1,000 yards, even last year, 8 receiving TDs. But Doug, when you hear Doug talk about him, this is a great talent at wide receiver. He was like, people are going to be surprised when they see what this guy can do. Because when you watch him, when I watched him at the Combine, and of course, my nephew, Tony Sands, down in Fort Lauderdale, he's always trained them since they were a kid. And Lamar, all of those kids, he trained them. This dude works so hard, man. Oh, my God, you got to tell this dude stop working that hard. Like, it's scary how hard he works. That's what else they want over in Tennessee right now. They want somebody to set the pace now. Remember now, Derrick Henry's gone. They brought in Tony Pollard over there. They're going to spread the football out. They're going to spread the football around, spread the field out, and spread the football around. Kevin Ridley gives them that number one dude that they lost when they let A.J. Brown walk. Now, I find this funny. Just off note, I digress with this thought, but that's about the same money A.J. Brown got. They could have that they let go. I know that GM and everybody's gone.
Good point.
But that's about the same money A.J. Brown got that you let get away. And you said because you thought, we can develop Burke. He can be our next A.J. Brown. But now you say, oh, God, he can't be our next A.J. Brown. That's why this money is where it is. They had to go and find a number one receiver.
Well, they had to go find.
Right.
Jamar Chase is what they went and found.
Right. They had to go find that guy.
Is he?
And now, talent-wise, he could be that. And that's what we're talking. Talent-wise, yes, it blows your mind. He could be that. And when you look at him, you say, well, it could be my Tyreek Hill if you're a Doug Peterson and you put him in that type of system. It's just something that's not translated. And he has great years. I'm still waiting on him to take that rocket. And he has the talent to meet this number, but he has to put it on the football field.
Okay. I see all the potential you talk about, and every time I turn on the game and watch him, I say, whew. But I don't see that 1 year that you talked about. It hasn't manifested across his career. It hasn't.
Right.
He hasn't taken off yet.
Right.
He has the potential, but he's 29 years of age.
Well, yeah, he's older.
Okay, all right. $50 million's a lot. And I hope you're right. I got a lot of friends in Nashville from Vanderbilt. I hope you're right because they think they have something with their quarterback. And in the end, the quarterback will be the key to this. I'm not sure about him, and I watched him a lot at Kentucky. In fact, I watched my Vanderbilt Commodores go into Lexington, Kentucky, and beat him his last year at Kentucky, and he stunk in that game. And I watched the whole game. He threw for 109 yards, had a QBR of 17. Will Levis. I'm talking about Will Levis. And is he the guy? Is he right? And I look at the numbers last year, and he had some weapons. He didn't.
I saw him against Miami. He looked pretty good to me.
Okay, he had one good game, and then I'm looking at the rest. He went 3-6 as a starter. He completed 58% of his passes. He had a QBR total across the board of 33, which if it had qualified, he would have been second to last in the NFL. He's a rookie starter. I got you.
A rookie starter for a coach in Vrabel that is not trying to do what Callahan is doing, mimicking what Cincinnati did. This is what I'm saying. When I say Jamar Chase to you, I'm talking about the Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. This is what Calvin Ridley is getting ready to walk into in Tennessee. This is no Derrick. You say, well, why did they let Derrick Henry go? Well, Callahan's looking for Joe Mixon type. In Pollard.
Agreed.
A dual threat type back. Pollard healthy, can catch the ball out the backfield, detaching from the line of scrimmage. So maybe they're getting a healthier Pollard than last year with the Cowboys.
But I'm very comfortable saying that Will Levis will never be Joe Burrow.
He may never be Joe Burrow as we see it over taking a team to a Super Bowl, but he's better than what they had. And now you bring in a new coach. Now you bring in
Ryan Tannehill, big picture, long term.
I'm right.
It's early, man. It's early, and you got a new coach, Skip.
Remember I said this.
I think
this
better.
Kid's got some Carson Wentz going on where he can be a little thick-headed, and he'll try. You'll say, "What are you doing?" And I'm being harsh because he's a rookie last year. But there are times when I'd say, "I don't know what you're thinking." But he's got the big arm. He's got the Josh Allen arm.
Yes.
Okay? And so what you're saying is he has some moxie about him. And you want somebody to help him know when to use that and when to pull back from that.
All right, so
I like that.
Now you have DeAndre Hopkins there, and he makes $13 million a year, and all of a sudden, here comes Calvin Ridley making $23 a year. I don't know that D-Hop's going to love that because he's
but D-Hop's is in his, even though Calvin Ridley's a little older, he's in playing years. Yeah. D-Hop is older in playing years. Calvin Ridley might be a year younger in age, but
D-Hop's suttenness is nowhere near what this is.
No, it's a whole different.
And D-Hop knows that.
D-Hop can become their T. Higgins, and he can become their Jamar Chase.
Well, remember, they took Treylon Burks in the.
Yeah, but Treylon Burks can be their Tyler Boyd. That's what they're looking at.
18th overall pick in the first round.
That's what they're looking at. They looking at D-Hop as being their T. Higgins.
Yep.
This kid being at the Chase, and the Trey Burks being their Tyler Boyd. That's what they're looking at.
And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm telling you, you're gonna be surprised. This kid, if he keeps himself still and he plays, this kid can play.
Oh, I know. You ain't gotta tell me twice.
He could flat out.
Cowboys should have signed him.
He's only saying this because I was with this kid on the combine and I was trying to get
Cowboys should have signed him. Cowboys should have signed him.
I wish they would have. Signed him.
Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys,
that boy can play, man.
Is Michael Irvin still okay with Jerry Jones prioritizing drafting over plunging in free agency? That is next.
Plunge, get me a plunge.
So, Michael Irvin, Keyshawn and I have gone back and forth about this all week long. The Dallas Cowboys were the only NFL team not to make an agreement with a free agent during the legal tampering period, and now they're the very last NFL team to actually sign a free agent. This one not exactly a household name, Eric Kendricks. So as we know, Jerry Jones prioritizes drafting players over signing free agents. Michael, are you still okay with this philosophy?
Well, hold on before you go.
Okay.
What you just said is not factual or true, Skip. They did get into tampering and sign a free agent. That's the long snapper.
The long snapper. You got me. Touche. Touche.
Boy, you so crazy, man. What is that?
His name escapes me. I can't remember.
Yeah. You want to hear that's fun part. That's a fun. Listen, when I look at this, and I think about how we all get so excited this time of the year, and everybody starts saying, "Oh, you're building your team, and this guy is the guy that can take us over the top." But really, it never pans out that way. It never pans out that way. And if you look at it, you end up overpaying in this early stage because of the frenzy that goes on, and everybody, now you're in bidding wars and the numbers get up. That's how what we talked about just happened with Calvin Ridley. That's how the number got up. I'm sure there was somebody bidding. We saw, wow, the number. They probably didn't go in expecting that number to get there, but that's where it ended up.
That's true.
Because they're battling with somebody. Jerry decides to stay out of that. I don't care. I don't mind that, especially with what's on tap. What do I mean by that? We directed it towards the draft, but the reality is it's not just a comparative analysis, free agents over draft. It's also free agents over your own players, and I don't want him doing that right now. I understand we got to go sign my 88 buddy and CD Lamb. I understand we have to do something with Dak Prescott. And I hope that we don't get so hurt on the pain of the loss that we had in the playoffs, and we make a decision here. I'm glad he did make a decision here where he gives somebody so too much money, and then we're not able to do what we got to do with Michael Parsons. I'm more worried about those guys right now than any guy that I saw. Any guy that I saw in this free agent period that just came up off the board. Now, I'm not saying that there's nobody out there that would say, oh, go get that guy, go get that guy. But what we had on the board and what you saw, I'm okay with him prioritizing the guys you have in the guys you know you're going to get over that early stage where everybody gets overpaid and the production never really matches the number. I'm okay with it. I think that's being prudent. I think it's being smart right now.
Yeah, I've never Skip was going crazy about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones not being in the, getting on the plane at midnight and doing all that and flying to people. Skip was going crazy about it. I kept saying, you got time, because what you need is to plug certain holes. And there's so many talented guys that as time goes by, that number starts to shrink because those opportunities are closing on certain teams that you thought you might go to. And that's the way Jerry's been shopping, it sounds like to me, for a long period of time outside of the Deion Sanders and maybe, I don't remember, Charles Haley, when Charles came over there with you guys, those type of
trade, but
those type of guys aren't necessarily out there in the free agent marketplace. So I'm okay with that. You say, well, we need a running back. Well, you can probably find a running back in the draft for what you want to do. You can probably find one. Well, we need a left tackle. Well, there's Bakhtiari out there. Do you want to pay $24 million a year to him, 22 a year, 20 a year,
Green
19
Bay
a year? Green Bay decided they did not. Doesn't mean that you don't want to, especially when you have Tyron Smith out there that wanted a little bit of shave and y'all wanted to just chop him all the way off. Maybe you come back to him because nobody else wants him. And now all of a sudden he says, you know what? I still want to play. I'll play for y'all. Give me a different number. And then y'all meet. And you got your left tackle. You just went and got Kendricks at the linebacker position. You need a couple more backers. Maybe there's a few more out there somewhere in the universe. Or maybe a guy is draftable. So you got time.
Big meat up front. Some big healthy.
And you need some meat.
Weight. Some weight up front.
You need some meat up front. Maybe.
By the way, we drafted that guy last year.
Mozzie Smith, but Mozzie Smith may be better in Mike Zimmer's system than he was in Dan Quinn's system. There you go. So you got time.
Okay.
You got time, but you won't splash.
No, I don't.
Because you deserve it. Because he said all in.
Not deserve.
You know what?
Deserve.
That big fella that the Raiders just got. Now, if Dallas was to be able to go in and get somebody like that, I'm willing to stretch a purse like that.
Okay, but that was $84 million guaranteed dollars. $84 million.
You said to me yesterday, Skip, splash.
But that's the kind of splash that would make a huge difference. You go get me a big run stopper that can get to a quarterback. I'm willing to you go stretch that purse for that.
Here's my issue with Jerry Jones, and I know him and I love him just like you do, but his stubborn pride runs deeper than any humans I've ever been around. It runs deeper than any oil well he ever had dug in Texas or Oklahoma. It runs so deep that there's no flexibility in it because he now prides himself almost to a fault over drafting and raising like sons. I'll draft him because I pick him. I got the final say in the draft, and he listens to Will McClay and all the scouts, and they do a great job.
They do a great job.
But Jerry has final say, veto power. He makes the final choice, and he takes huge pride in making those choices and getting to know those players and raising the best ones like he raised you like a son. And I'm fine with that until you run out a product in a home playoff game that is down 27-0 before halftime, because that's just flat out wrong. That is screaming at you. You have to change. You have to do something different. So this man, the number 88, was pushing like crazy sitting in that chair for Derrick Henry. And it made sense to me because I knew we were going to lose Tony Pollard. It wound up going to Tennessee, and I was fine with that because he was never quite the same after that career-threatening leg injury that he suffered.
Hopefully he'll be better.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be better for his sake. But the point is, it's time for one move. Just this isn't even a splash move. It's time to send a message to your locker room. I did that. I got you a real guy. I got you a bell cow of a back, the ultimate bell cow back, who has proven himself again and again and again. And 30 for him, freakishly gifted that he is not too old. He's still got 2 or 3 big-time years left in him. That's why Baltimore jumped all over it. But they were able to steal him for a guaranteed $9 million.
That's the one.
It's pennies on the dollar to me for what impact he will have on the Baltimore Ravens. I think they just won the Super Bowl. Way to go. Congratulations, Baltimore. But it was the kind of move that Jerry won't make because his stubborn pride gets in the way because it's not how they do business. I don't do that. Well, Jerry, I just saw your team stink like no playoff team I've ever seen before. That was the biggest playoff disaster I have ever seen in my lifetime watching any playoff game, given who they were, what I thought they were, and how bad it went from jump. It was a nightmare of a debacle of a disaster, and you owed your Cowboy fandom and especially your locker room just that one guy because it made so much sense. And you've asked again and again, did he even make a phone call?
I'll ask you again, though, Skip. What if Derrick Henry just didn't want to be a Cowboy?
It's possible. I don't know that because I'll probably never know that.
Right. But what if he just didn't want to be?
What if Jerry went to $10 million? Could we swallow that?
But still, what if he did want to be and you never got a phone call?
Yeah.
And
that's something that's totally different.
I go right there. But I got to ask you guys, that's why I threw out the Christian Wilkins. Now, in all the free agency that all the guys just got that early run, who do you say is worth me stretching this purse and putting harm's way those three guys I just mentioned that I know I have to sign? I'm telling you, the only person I saw out there, the Raiders got him. And if you can get a big run stopper that also pushes the pocket towards the quarterback, then I'm saying,
but Michael, the plunge
I don't see anybody else.
Okay, but he was 84 guaranteed $1 million. That's like Jerry would never do that.
And that's why I'm saying right here, right now, that we're diving in and we're getting on the Cowboys for inactivity.
No,
I'm diving in and I'm saying the only place I can get on them, and I'm saying, Jerry, right here is where I would have stretched. This would have been just the mind blower.
Yeah.
This would have been the mind blower. Now you put him in there with Michael Parsons and and you know this is an area of huge need. Now you stretch out and everybody, I'm coming on, we're going to the Super Bowl. I would have taken that. I would have taken the hope letter and moved it all the way to the sky.
Do you like it? Do you like his skill set as a player, or you just like the fact that he's a big run stopper?
No. His skill set in his personality. This big fella here is big fun. He's got to keep everybody's going in the locker room. Yeah. I ate with his family when they were getting drafted. I mean, he and him and his whole family. That's what I wanted. I wanted all of that. That's what they need on defense. You ain't not running the football with this dude on the football field.
I just want to say one thing before I allow Skip to go ahead and take us into commercial break. Michael, there's only one guy that I've ever seen as a splash guy or a big signing that went on and won a Super Bowl. It's Deion Sanders.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Everybody else that gets signed big, you just said you going to the Super Bowl if y'all signed him.
Right.
Yeah, that's wasn't going to happen.
Okay, but Derrick Henry will carry Baltimore to the Super Bowl.
The problem with Derrick was affordable.
And on top of that,
that's not even a stretch.
Baltimore was in the AFC Championship game. Y'all wasn't in championship nothing.
No.
So they already knocking on the door.
Okay.
Y'all standing in line to knock on the door.
All right, so here's the bottom line to this discussion.
Right there.
Watch what Jerry does.
Right there. You got beat 27-0 at halftime.
Thank you. Jerry Jones will take a running back in the second round. It'll probably be Trey Benson out of Florida State. Watch, with the 56 overall pick. I do too. But you know what? He'll be the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys next year. I got it. And he'll be on a rookie contract, right?
I'm talking about he gets signed, big fella. We got
to talk about this. Justin Fields to the Raiders? The Raiders?
You got to be somebody who will talk and run. They get
Speculation continues to run rampant about Justin Fields' future. That speculation includes the Raiders trading for him. Michael Irvin, gut feeling, where will Justin Fields play next season?
You know, and when you guys mentioned the Raiders, I was thinking about the Raiders, and I thought to myself, well, just like we were just talking about big Christian Wilkins, right? And now what they have up front, they've clearly decided the way we beat Patrick Mahomes is the way we beat him last year.
That's exactly right.
We get to Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
So we're going to beat him on the defensive side. Everybody else in that division is trying to beat him on the offensive side. Yep. That's why, you know, Chargers went and got coach, and for Justin Herbert, everybody, they went and got Coach Payton in Denver, everybody's trying to win on the offensive side, and they said we're going to win on the defensive side. So if you in Justin Fields and put him with the Raiders, somehow you get him to the Raiders because they're pretty much all your open battle over there. There'll be an open battle for him over there. They don't really have anything solid at quarterback that you say that's going to be the quarterback. So you really still have a battle. I like that talent. I like the talent and what he brings and what he gives you. Something extra when you're going against Patrick Mahomes. Now, I also like, and I thought about this, I also wouldn't mind seeing him in Denver. Denver right now don't have a situation. He makes $1.6 million a year. Let me tell you why I said. I'm talking about Denver. Let me tell you why I said Denver. What does Sean like? I know Sean. I've heard Sean like J.J. McCarthy, and he's going after that quarterback. But okay, that's your Drew Brees. But you still need a Taysom Hill. At $1.6 million, you got this guy for your Taysom Hill to come in and do some running for you and all those little gadget and trick stuff that you like to do with that kind of talent.
I'm a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Man, what's wrong with you?
Who's he starting for?
I'm a starting quarterback in the National Football League. You're not about to take me. You're not about to take me, Michael, and make me Taysom Hill.
It's not your decision. It's not your decision.
Michael, you sound crazy.
It's not Justin Fields' decision.
No, it is Justin Fields' decision.
Well, if he's going to play or not is his decision, but where he plays is not.
Yeah, but you're telling me.
And what he has to do to contribute to an offensive team is not there.
You're telling me to take a dude.
I hope his agent is doing what I'm doing right now, trying to find a home for him and not trying to say, well, if he's starting or not. Because right now, those spots are dwindling. And just because we like Justin Fields, obviously, it's not something there, because nobody's jumped all over this, and that's why we're still talking about this. So let's be real here, guys. Let's be real. I hope Justin Fields has an opportunity to become a starting quarterback, but none of us can sit right here and say right now, and none of us will say, I bet my contract, I bet my salary that he'll be a starting quarterback in the NFL. You won't say that because that's not the reality, and you don't know. And we don't know.
We're going to live in reality.
And let me give you, he'll get a chance to at least get coached by a coach that knows what he's doing. Sometimes you got to step back. This kid came out. I say the biggest issue this kid came out and said, I'm thinking too much about it. You need an opportunity now to try to rehab that.
Michael, he came out and said that because they had him doing 50,000 different things. And it's frustrating when all the blame in the city of Chicago at the time is being placed on you, and I'm 23 years damn old.
Handling pressure, and that's exactly what
it's not a problem of having pressure. It's not
it's about pressure.
A problem of handling pressure. It's the way you interpret what he is saying. Now, I let you go, so I'll make my case.
I'm letting you go.
I ain't sending him no damn Denver to be nobody's backup and rotate and do all of that. He is a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Now, you want to get him?
Where's he starting?
You want to get him to the Raiders?
Where's he starting?
Here's how you get him to the Raiders. You know how I feel about him, Skip. He's better, in my opinion, than any other quarterbacks in the draft. Okay? And they all the same age. They all the same age. Justin Fields is 25 years old and has 3 seasons in the National Football League. Right. Jaden Daniels is 23, soon to be 24. Okay? Then when you talk about Caleb, it's 22. And then you talk about Drake May, 22. 25 and 22, 23, that's all the same.
Right.
I got a guy with 3 years of experience.
All right.
That has gone with 3 different offensive coordinators and 2 head coaches and 1 dominant receiver for a short period of time in his stint in Chicago on a bad football team.
Okay.
Now I get him to the Raiders, so here's how the Raiders acquire him. You sitting in a spot in the middle of a draft. You drop down. I don't know what Chicago would want. Let's say they want a late 1.
They're not getting 1. They're not getting 1. They can want whatever they want. They're not getting
I'm just saying, let's say they want a late 1. You don't want to give up your late 1. You want to give up a 2. But you move down in the draft. You get a 1. You get some more draft picks. One of them 2s that you get for surrendering that 13th pick, you send to Chicago to bring in Justin Fields. Okay? You got a head coach that loves defense. You got an assistant head coach in Marvin Lewis that loves defense. You look at Marvin Lewis's resume and his recipe for success when he was a head coach in the National Football League. He wants to run the football, play defense, and not allow the quarterback to make too many mistakes.
Agreed.
That fits perfect for Justin Fields or in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Sitting him in no damn Denver.
Y'all speaking out your hearts, man.
But I may be, but my heart is real and big.
Keyshawn, Caleb Williams will be better than Justin Fields.
I don't think
Long
so.
term, he just will be.
I think so.
Okay, but to your point, Justin Fields fits with the Raiders because he plays football the way Antonio wants to coach football. Because Justin Fields does like to run the football, and he likes to play with his heart and his guts and his intangibles. And he's a tough kid, and he fits their style of play. He fits the locker room mentality there, where they're going to win with their defense. And listen, Christian Wilkins, I know they paid a ton of money, but he just makes them so much better. They are now a defensive force to be reckoned with. And they were for Patrick Mahomes on Christmas, and they're going to be twice next year. And if you give them Justin Fields, who's now becoming a fairly experienced quarterback, he's not a raw rookie anymore. He would step right in and play the way they want to play, make the kind of plays they need to have made. And to me, if it's a late 1 or a 2, it doesn't matter. He can start and win games for you.
Guys, let me just say this before we go. I don't think they're going to get a late 1 or a 2.
Okay.
Maybe not. I just look at what he played with in Chicago, man.
Are the Denver Nuggets now in another league from everybody else in the NBA? We debate next. The Denver Nuggets won pretty easily last night in Miami. Their 9th win in their last 10 games, and they have ascended once again into first place in the Western Conference. Keyshawn, are the Nuggets now by far the best team in the NBA?
Not by far.
No.
No, because again, Skip, I go to the postseason. Regular season record, whatever. I want to see you in a 7-game stretch against some of these powerhouses and see if you can close the deal out like you did last year against the Miami Heat. That's what. Are you actually better than Boston? Are you actually better than Milwaukee in a 7-game series? Not one-offs.
Man, they look tough to beat, though, with that big fella, man.
He's running away with the MVP again.
Right. And everything comes through him. In a league where everybody's shooting the threes, every time this ball goes through the paint, it makes it difficult to stop.
Plus, I'm a Nugget hater anyway, though. So.
Yeah, you are a Nugget hater.
I'm going to admit it. I'm going to admit it. I don't like them.
I'm going to hang with you. I still believe the Lakers can beat them when push comes to shove in a 7-game series, but they have to figure out how to get over the hump, and I'm not sure they can. That is it for Undisputed.
I'm going to stay strong up in here.
We are back at 9:30 Eastern.